Gotcha.
Traveling to Volskaya in ready for battle. Defend objective A.
All right, stream is up. How's it looking? Okay, sounds good, Spartan. Well, cool. So you guys said you were working on double barrier. Have you taken on any comps as something that you want to master as a team? All right. Yeah, that sounds good. We can definitely build something with double barrier. It is an older comp, and it's been nerfed since then with the shield reductions. And then, so basically, there's two ways to play it, and we'll see how it happens or what you guys use. Essentially, there's everyone stacked together and just as far away as you can, and and you kill anything that moves out in the open. Um, and then the other one is Orisa main tank, and you guys actually, yeah, and then Sigma off tank, and then you guys would split as often as you can and take short flanks. And the short flanks open up to kind of a three-way split, so a three-man split, and whoever gets pushed just backs up. Rather than receiving the push and just standing there and taking it, you would run away so that the other team can wrap in. And the concept. Yeah, I guess for that one it would be offensive. As the defensive portion of it, you got to hold the point. So, right. If you do give way on a defensive, like the tank has to stay on the point or someone mobile, but everyone else can wrap around. That's fine. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, the BAP is really good on this kind of setup too for the long range poke. And I won't be focusing too much on individual mistakes if you guys want that, or like individual decisions. If you guys would prefer that, then definitely hit me up for some coaching, and we can have some one-on-one. But looks like they're bringing some double main tank. And we're giving way. So this is the concept of not enough distance or not enough focus on the barrier in order for before they reach you. If this was a traditional brawl comp, they would just storm over you, and this would be the end of the fight. The alternative to this is that if you guys play that off-angle variant I was talking about, this way could give back to the point while continuing to shoot and line of sight with the cover, while the other team was playing this off angle and hitting them from the back. And so they would have free line of sight on the squishies and the Zen and the Hanzo, and you guys would be in a prime position there to receive as well as to kill. As long as it's a, so they don't have a dive. They have a very gentle dive, and that's Winston. And so it would work to our benefit to, so for example, let's say we did what you said, and so y'all start a 6. Winston comes in, you guys split, and so now it's 3 and 3 on left and right of the building or the truck, and they push one direction. It doesn't matter who they push. That side that gets pushed is going to give way. So they retreat, and the other side wraps in. And so it would, right. Basically, if they're walking towards you, you're walking back. It's as simple as that. They are right. They are creating their own flank in this strategy. They are flanking themselves by pushing in too deep. And so that's the name of the game. It with double barrier. The reason it doesn't work so much stacking up is because the barriers are too weak. In most 6v6 scenarios, anyway. Right. We're supposed to have a lot of damage output, but the thing is, you saw that it was not coordinated or focused. It was, we had the monkey bubble, it took a bit, and then we had monkey, and then we had a full Reinhardt shield by the time the monkey ball or bubble went down. And so, yeah, maybe we backed up a little bit for monkey, and then we stopped. And then we backed up some more when Reinhardt came. And so we get in a situation where we're losing a little bit of our people at the same time, simply because we're not set up, back here. We're not set up over here. We're not in a place where they need to worry about high ground, flanks, or anything like that. They can just look at one direction and tank it with both of their main tanks. So this is why we want really high damage. And you guys have a great spam setup, but even like the healers, so like Spartan is shooting his gun when barrier comes up. Kevin is shooting his gun. I know he's not on comms or not with you guys. Everybody is offense. Everybody is offense at the start of a fight. But it's good. You guys held this. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Good covering each other. We got a split on the tanks. Good catch on the Winston. And then for Carl, just hop on that roof as soon as that's clean or in the med kit area. Just to keep with your tanks. This big one. Okay. And then just the Reinhardt getting in there. It's the same concept. And we'll see too once they start coming in. As soon as they start coming in, we're giving space. As soon as they're together and pushing, we give way. And we don't necessarily need to use the barriers. In terms of like this, you can just tell it's just getting broken, and now it's not ready, and we'll have to put another one out. It's okay for people to play corners. Right. Right. That's a really good point. That's very true, because you guys are amazing duelists as these tanks. And so if you have a little squad with you, that means you have a fighting force now. If you have a DPS and a heal per tank and you guys split, you're a big threat. Because now he just line of sighted the whole team by going left, going this way. Whereas if you guys were split, he would have to fight or stop, or you guys would have to back up and receive it, while this team could wrap in and kill whoever's back here. Just like before. And then really good use with high ground. The more we can use that, the better. We'll get cheeky picks just from sharing each other's damage. There we go. Cool. And so now you can see it's kind of a natural split, and it's working to our advantage. So Weasel's out there, and he's wrecking some face. He did have a couple with him, and that's when they got the echo kill. And now we're also contesting the point with a really good DPS setup from Carl and support from Spartan. So it kind of turned into a natural split. So good reaction. Just got to pick him up. And then might be a lost point. That's all right. I missed when we lost Junk. Did we lose Junk early on? Discord, no barrier. Yeah. And that's another strength of double barrier, is that you always have a barrier to duel with. So any questions on the big concept of double barrier and how to use it? Cool. Okay. No, that sounds good. And I'm sure we'll get some more examples coming up. But no, for the most part, I really like the positioning. Just keep in mind your advantage is going to be your range, and corners are amazing for you guys as well. Natural cover is what you should rely on more than what you rely on the barrier. The barrier is to create dueling environments. So especially like this, how they're split all over the place, they're trying to envelop. We can, if we know they're split, we can definitely do something with it. I know you guys don't have the Lucio, but you can definitely call for the Lucio if he's on your team to make a push together. Just keep in mind, you guys have to coordinate that, just like with Brawl. This can easily convert into Brawl on a whim, at a moment's notice, with Orisa's changes, so that she can't be headshot anymore. She essentially turns into the Reinhardt. And so as soon as you guys get in a brawling position, you push with Lucio, you get in their face, you pick off 1v2s, or I'm sorry, 6v2s or 6v1s, and then you can come back again with your Lucio. So that's a variant. That's an option. And then immediately you can go back into double barrier. Everyone takes their high grounds, gets your lanes. I would really encourage that split with the team though, so that you guys cover the angles. You're setting up duels essentially. Right. That's the strength of both of these barriers, is that they're almost like a better defensive matrix. Yeah, that worked beautifully. It turned into a brawl and y'all just pushed in. Just keep in mind too, if you guys do go ham, call in your backline. That way you're not caught up if something bad happens. For Fractal, try to claim a high ground whenever you ult, if possible. Your barrier acts as a dueling platform, and so if you were to duel the soldier, you can just tap your right click to duel him, and if he rushes you, you just do the dance. You be on the opposite side of the barrier, and if it gets too hot, you have your retreat with your shift. Cool. The more the main tanks here, or I'm sorry, the tanks take their barriers in the concept of Orisa is Winston's bubble. So for example, would you Winston bubble right here? Generally, you wouldn't, because you want to get value out of your bubble. It's not strong enough to last in a choke in the front line. It would get burned right away. Yeah, so if you were fighting this angle, this is a great Winston bubble, because now you can dance in it, you can shoot their backline, you can get people zoned away from the natural cover, and all the while someone else is holding this natural cover with their barrier ready to push in. This would be the Sigma, and Sigma can do everything he can do without a barrier, so because of his reload. So it's like shoot, 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 shoot. So whether or not you shoot, shoot, and you hang out here with a barrier, or use your natural cover, you're getting the same value. It's just one is you're burning your barrier to do it. For everyone else, again, natural cover, it's just so valuable. And then those barriers are for strategic use rather than soaking damage. And double barrier really turns into a powerhouse this way. Yeah, you guys are getting some wonderful kills from the back line there, and junk too. And this may just end up being that split we were talking about. And this ends up the backline was able to save a little bit from that split, but it's not enough with all those ults. And then for here, it's okay to give up these ticks as long as you don't throw your life away, because now we're creating our own what's it called, stagger. So if we have a fresh point, and we're contesting, we're fighting on it, and we run out of tanks, we run out of healers, and so we just throw our bodies at it. Now we're stuck in a 3v3 loop, or a 3v6 loop, or whatever it is. So it's okay to give up a tick or two in a blunder, just to have a certain for sure hard recovery when your tank shows up. Kevin's doing all right. There we go. So now we're pushing in with our tanks. We just do have to keep in mind the threat of monkey. It's a gentle dive, but as soon as we split, it is a threat. And then always run to your team. So even if you shotgun this way, and then you land, with your tanks, this will put you in a better spot. Or if you land maybe on this high ground, if I don't know, you would have to do the Hanzo, but the counter to dive is a not like melee range of each other, but a little spread out of each other. Just, I don't know, 2 meters. That works. All right. So with the only thing I would have called out there is beat generally means go. And so you guys did good holding this corner for the Hanzo. But with beat, we can be more aggressive and put ourselves in a position where we can't be controlled. For example, if we all hang out here, we got split by dragons, essentially, with the Lucio doing his stuff over here. Let me back it up, actually, so I can show that. So the beat comes out. This is time to go. You guys are taking care of monkey. They're pushing forward like this. And so we can push out, we can claim, we can retake stuff now with this beat. We can take the high ground with our BAP, with our junk. We can push out, and that's unfortunate with the charge. We can push out and retake the point to cover people. I'm gonna loop back around to the first coaching, and that support mindset is what initiates all of these changes. Is what initiates all of these, bringing these concepts into reality. And so if we are playing as a support for our Junkrat as a tank, we would take the beat and move up and hold a new corner and then clear out our back. So while we're moving, we can shoot. That's fine. But we use the beat. If we just hold our position and let the beat wear off, we're not using it. It returns no value. And so in the desire to be a support for somebody, we take a different action versus another idea, another concept. And there's a lot of other individual choices we can make just on that alone. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but yeah, like just different concepts of if I am supporting someone, where should I be? What should I do? And is that in my brain right now? So I'll leave it at that. If you guys have questions, let me know. I don't want to call any people out, and I'd like to keep the focus on the group play. Okay. I see. Right. So it works both ways. That's a good point. They can support you, you can support them. So it's definitely a communication thing. Cool. Cool. Right. So my question for that one would be, was that called out? Yo. Okay. Gotcha. Makes sense. There's a couple of things here. So one is so we're playing split, which means we control a zone. So if we go somewhere else out of that zone, not only do we cut off all of our support, all of our damage, all of our other tanks, etc., but we also, and hopefully we would cut off the enemy damage in the same process. If we do this as a tank, and this is specific as a tank, we give up the front line, which means we have to let people know to either go with you or to hide, to take natural cover. And that's essentially what happened here. And I think there may have been a little distraction on the healing aspect as well. I can't tell if he's in healing mode or not, but I believe we were focused on damage more than healing for both of our healers. And so that's good. You guys all went. And y'all can keep taking that route. And so that's just what ended up happening. It's a split. It's a line of sight for the healers, and it was too much damage to keep up with. And then we missed the. I think I didn't actually see it. Was there CC in there from the hook? Okay. As long as the hook was used. Good deal, good deal. And then the double ult. That is all right. And so I will present the one a scenario from the concept of before with double barrier. Even though we're not double barrier anymore, since we have the hog rolling. The double barrier concept. You guys can start up here, which is fine, and whoever gets pushed, y'all just back up together, and then y'all can take the different angles here, and then Sigma can contest the high ground or a reset. It doesn't really matter, and you're still contesting this whole zone. You have your people in the back. If they need to use your barriers, fine, that's great. If they're safe back here, great. Just keep working it. And then you're letting them come in. You're letting them come in constantly. If someone flanks early, like, oh no, the Winston looped around, that's only going to be to your advantage. You guys can take that flank. Especially with the mobility and the healing and everything, y'all will be fine. And then if he shatters, it's only going to hit one side. And then your DPS, if they're still up here, they'll be fine. If he pushes in, now he's hard flanked because whichever side he pushed, the other side flanks him. And then the back line is fully exposed with no barrier at all. And so now full bombs, full high ground, full everything can land. Simply because we played a giveaway double barrier kind of flanking strat. The other alternative, and sadly it's kind of hard to do because there's so much natural cover with that pillar and this little side room and stuff, but it's up to you guys. You can give it a shot, see how it works. You guys can play back of point or one of the sides of the point like this. That way, high ground, you guys don't even need to worry about it. They would have to go all the way around over there on the right. And if they come down middle, you guys just burn them. If they don't come down middle, you swing around and you shoot them as they come in as a 6-stack. You can also use high ground to do the same kind of concept. Just kind of plant up here, and then as they push forward, you annihilate them. As they try to take this high ground, you annihilate them. And then trying to take different angles too with your Ash would help increase that pressure for people who do slip away. And give you good angles to work with. Any questions? Would it be helpful? Do you guys have a team tonight to give that concept a try? Cool. Nice, drawing him off the point. That's funny. Good try. And that was a good hold too. That's still a good hold.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Looks like we got a brawl variant, double barrier coming out. Kevin's going ham. And so this is the same concept I want to introduce for our Sigma. is always, 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 always. If you want to make this a personal goal to work on, a fun goal I give is your gun doesn't work unless you're shooting from an off angle. And so now the whole match, your gun is jammed up until you get to an off angle. And the I, if you guys are going for a full on shield break, I'd drop the Ash and bring some more DPS. And probably drop the Moria as well to get more DPS. If you're planning to win the shield break war, and to be honest, you have sure they could have run Brawl, they could have run something that had a lot of barrier, but we're dealing with a barrier that can be broken fairly easily. And not considering their comp, mainly talking about, so let's go back to the argument that you proposed. You wanted to bring shield break. With shield break, Hog is an amazing, amazing, amazing shield breaker. Sigma also does good, but I would argue for shield breaking, I'm currently under the understanding that the Hog shotgun breaks shields faster. But we can test that. Left clicks. Because it's so big, it's going to hit. So, yeah, we can debate other issues and whatever. It's strictly focusing on shield break. To my understanding, Hog is the better pick. However, Overwatch is not all about one thing, one strength. I would argue, I present two arguments. The first argument is that Sigma can break barriers without being behind Reinhardt. You can still shoot the barrier and deal splash damage. So you can take an off angle for that. The second argument I have, or case to present, would be that removing the attention of the backline, possibly 2, 3, maybe even all of them, 4, is of more value and assisting your Reinhardt better than breaking the barrier without an ultimate to follow it up with. It would be, so for example, let's say this is strictly a mirror matchup. And, well, I don't know if I can use mirror matchup for this one. Let's say we're talking with Bap and Ana. So let's just focus on an idea of Bap and Ana. And a Sigma rounds a corner and starts shooting them. They're going to have to move. They're going to fight back. They're going to heal each other. Attention is off the front line. The Rhine duel, if it's Brawl v Brawl, is now, you have the advantage now. So it's not necessarily about the barrier as much as it is about shooting and being in a position to be a threat. You can, real quick, you can be a threat without ever taking an action except for movement. Sorry, what was the question? If Ryan's taking this one, the off angle is this one. That's it. Any of these are fine based on what you see. So if you come right here to this truck and you see Zen, this is a one-on-one. If you ignore this one-on-one and you keep going, you'll want to line of sight the Zen. So that you maybe you want to get some splash damage, you want to be a bigger threat. This is entirely viable as well because now you have your natural cover. Shoot, shoot, natural cover. You don't even need your barrier. Shoot, shoot. And now you're a massive thorn in their side. And what are they going to do? They need to do something. They either need to deal with the Rhine or they need to deal with you. And if they stay there, they're going to die. Or they can run. More than likely, they're going to run. And now, they've split their Zen. And that's simply from you guys not grouping up and pushing a single lane. The barrier is used more like a D matrix. It's a dueling tool. It's never a lane push tool for Sigma. And if you're lane pushing, you're not gonna get value out of it. There's too much damage. And so if you wanted to, like, oh, I want to take this duel, you tap your right click so no one else can shoot it. It's right in front of your face. And you duel the Zen. And you force the Zen back, or you kill him, with an accretion combo. So left click, accretion, left click. Left click, accretion, cancel, left click. And now you can, kill everybody else. Yeah, so you like left click and cancel it with accretion. Yeah, that was... Yeah, we're going high level, going ham. No. We're breaking the game. So that's the split we're talking, and this may end up being a split. We'll see. We'll see where the Rhine goes. And this is the so I see Weasel's kind of hesitating. He's dancing back and forth in front of your barrier. This would be a go time because Sigma went. And so now Sigma he's out there for a while without any other pressure. There wasn't any pressure down this lane, and so, everyone just can rotate. If you give them time to rotate, they'll rotate. And now they're doing the split thing. You guys might be in a... Yeah, this is good. This ends up being good. Cool. Doe from the junk mines. That's all right. Good take, good take. And so can you guys, do you see the structure I'm talking about in the initiation and the approach and the gameplay? Right.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B.
Right. There's Kevin going ham. That's right. We love him. All right. If you guys end up... So this is fine. This is a good comp. If you guys end up going back to the Orisa Sigma, just remember you want to play slow because it's not brawl. So you want to build your advantage. So you can break a barrier, and then that's your advantage. You can get a pick, that's your advantage. You can reposition into multiple areas that cause them to be in a tight spot, that's your advantage. The thing is, if you guys go ham and play like your brawl, which here you can because you have a Reinhardt. If you do that with a Risa and you go ham and you play like your brawl and you just try to 6v6 right out the gate, it may not work to your advantage because you're not going to have the same kind of sustain from the Zarya or the Diva. Definitely the Reinhardt is going to out-sustain you with his barrier, and then the damage that comes through that, your barriers won't be able to handle. So the slower the better with Orisa Sig. Wait for that advantage, even if it's just a barrier break. All right. Right. Cool. That's good to hear. The one thing I wanted to mention here is that we know we lost Lucio right out the gate, and we know we don't have spawn advantage, and we still went in for a fight. A hard fight, a hard commit. So like this is going for the point rather than going for a high ground, going for an advantageous position. You guys can still fight a 5v6 and try to get an advantage, especially, here. Because if it goes south, if it goes sour, you guys can back up. And you can still pull a lot of advantages out of a 5v6, especially with 5 minutes on the clock. You can build your ults. You can make them burn an ult. You can get a pick that evens the field. However, if you hard commit, you're throwing your disadvantage into a place that is even a bigger disadvantage. And so I think where Carl and Fractal are at is amazing. Bad Mojo and Spartan and Weasel was amazing. When Weasel got hooked and pulled forward, that's when we were, and they're pushing forward at the same time. This is when we need to be backing up. That's that concept of flowing like water. You get pushed, you back up. If you're playing split like this. If you commit or if you receive, the other team will not have time to back you up. You have to back up to another cover, another corner. Sweet, there's our pick. We got a 5v5. We can just keep taking our time though. You can see we're getting that damage in. We can do something with it. I think I can bring Mojo in because I think Mojo's the key player on here, and Carl can back him up. Mojo, your tether. Consider Reaper as having a tether to the main tank, and you can go as far as the tether allows you to go. And this particular tether is the distance you can run with Fade. That's your court, which means you have free reign to do whatever the heck you want as long as you can fade back to your main tank or your tank, a tank. So, in reality, if you wanted to, you could fade right here, or I'm sorry, teleport right here, come around, do whatever you need to do. If you get caught, so what? You just fade immediately and you fall back. So then wait for your 10-second cooldown or 5-second cooldown. It's fairly fast. And do it again. Or, go to a different location. Teleport above Soldier's Head this time. And then just shoot, and just run through, even if it's one direction. So like this is out of your tether range. However, you can jump, shotgun, oh, they noticed me, fade, and now you're safe. So really abuse that tether as a flanking character. Gotcha, yeah. Right, because we're just building advantage at this point. We're not hard committing, we're just building advantage. And so you are a key player in that. When I saw the Orisa half health just a second ago and I saw someone else half health, those are your go times. Those are your so Carl, so let's say you teleport and you want to go in or you want to do something, you can watch if they don't see you. You can wait for someone to get a hit because you guys are all ranged. It's okay to wait in this comp. And then someone gets half health, someone backs up, someone uses a cooldown. It's go time. And then, yeah, you can... Something loses armor. It's because that's your bane. If something has armor, don't shoot it. Orisa loses her armor. She's the same as the healers. It's the same health of pool, or a pool of health. You will do extreme damage and two-shot her. But she has to lose the armor first. Okay. So let's continue. And then too, we can team up on stuff like this. So like that Reaper's going in and doing crazy stuff. We can duel them. We can say, guys, I'm going to pressure the Reaper as a tank, and back me up. Or I'm going after the Orisa, all on Orisa. Look at this Orisa. Even if you get hooked as a tank, you have an out. You have a barrier. You have a... Ooh. So good. We got an ult out, but we're still staggered. We're still losing our one man. And if you guys are ever in this situation in a comp game, and see, there's that Reaper doing the thing I just talked about. Right. That's all right. It's all right. Let's see. If you guys are ever in a position where you need to work with one man, I don't recommend 5-man queues, because working with one is a lot harder than working with two. Working with a duo is a lot easier than working with a rando that probably may or may not care. It's always easier to work with a duo as a 4-stack. For this particular one, if you guys are ever in a situation like this, it's a Ball, it's a Lucio, it's whoever it is, it doesn't matter. It's way easier for you guys to work with him than it is for him to work with you. And so if he goes in and he dies, that is a commitment. That is, okay, either you guys need to back up and regroup, or everyone go in and try to win or die. And that way you're synced with your pug. And that ends up being a regroup anyway. And he dies again. And so that's watching him. That's looking at him. He wants to commit. He wants to make a play. And what do? We held our barrier and we continued to back up. And we said, sucks to be that guy, but wait a minute. He's on your team. You're not going to win a 5v6. Do you guys have fallback going in and help bound? Okay. So yeah, that's sound barrier. He went in. This is go time. Go, get in there. Don't worry about the tanks. Get the squishies. There you go. Push in. Good. Y'all can keep going. If y'all hear die. So that was good on what's Sigma. That was good on Sigma. Everyone else, y'all were good too. Just keep going. Run out of that. It's okay to look back. Maybe you could help with the kill. Wow. Awesome. Any questions so far? See, we got the Anna rolling now. All right. And y'all can see the disadvantage of stacking one lane here. Well, Monkey suicided and Kevin suicided, so it's even. But the the advantage or the disadvantage of stacking one lane is they just go the other way. They flowed like water. That's the offensive version. Oh, they're right here. Let's just go the other way. Good purple. And then 2 for Mojo. The high ground is beautiful here. And Carl, you too. Especially if they don't have anyone to contest. And now they have a diva, so we'll see how it goes.
30 seconds remaining.
Gotcha. On the chase. Cool. On the chase, it's you. I believe your cooldown would have been ready for the high ground there. To receive, or to chase. I mean. And again, this is backing up to receive. This is if we go in, we're playing to our disadvantage. So the Reaper can go in. That's his job. But for us, Fractal's perfect range is when where his orbs explode. And so you want to be like back here. And that way you can shoot the squishy. That's right. That's right. So if you needed to get off, you could use the cover. And this is the same for Weasel, yeah, it's Weasel. Weasel, you can be back here too. Y'all can double stack if you want. You can be back here for the med kit, so you guys can trade. Weasel, normally you would be the main tank on the point. That way the Sigma could flank around and work this angle and get really easy strafe shots. And then up here, the high ground is beautiful too. I love the what's it called? The use of the grenades offensively. That is, I believe, I hold by Anna's grenades being the most powerful ability in the game. She can single-handedly win fights. Just with that grenade. So be sure to call it out. You can even preemptively call it out. So you could say, I'm going to nade push in, something like that. Or whatever. Something to that effect, and that way you're healing your team at the same time as you're purpling them. And of course, it depends. If your people are going to die, of course, don't tell them to go in. So like, I can't heal you, go in! Yeah, don't do that. Oh, unfortunate window. So this is where rotations would come in really handy. Off angles, off angles. And so now Weasel would be the only one to die. And Mojo would be working the high ground. From here, you don't need to jump down. You can just pow, 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 pow. And then and you have to make the sound effect. And then and then Sigma would be here. And so now they have so many angles, so many threats that they're panicked. They need to make a decision. They need to back up or they need to go in. They need to go in, but they're going to die if they do. It's a checkmate. Yeah. With a tether. Right. You're right. That's a possibility if we play blind corners. So, for example, let's say our Orisa was here waiting for them to come in. We don't know where they're going to come in, and they speed in with a 6-stack Lucio Brawl straight around this corner, and then Orisa's like, oh, I didn't expect that. Well, of course you didn't expect that. You're blind. Your strength is going to be far away back here. Your strength is going to see looking through that window, or, Yeah, if you're up here, you're a 3-stack split. The other thing is too that we can double pocket somebody if we want. We still have ranged and we have a lot of damage, and we have a lot of ability to cover each other with this comp. Minus Kevin. If you want to use a Lucio, use them for that purpose too. That's perfectly cool. That's okay. Just when you split the 3, give the Lucio to the main tank. That way, the speed, you would use the speed for mitigation. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question? Okay. That's a good point. It's really important. You have to know where they're coming, and you have to see them, and you have to shoot them on their way in. And you have to react before they hit you. For example, if we were up here and we see them walking towards us and we just stand here up until they melee us, we did not react. Now, if they're almost dead when they melee us, sure, we won. Stay here and kill them. Otherwise, we would want to get ready to run, and maybe when they get to this middle area, we give it to them and we move and we back up. And then we can keep backing up. This is fine. We can walk all the way back here. If they jump the point, awesome. Now we can surround them. Now we can use all the high grounds we want. And we send a couple of main tanks to the point while all the squishies get picked to pieces because they have no barrier to hide behind. But you're right, we would have to kill them before our tanks die. And we would have to really hard heal our tanks. Right. No. You can use, so a little bit. The shields are so soft that if you put them in a main 6-stack lane, they're just going to get wrecked. And one of the barriers is immobile, so they can just run through it. The advantage comes when their damage is split. And so you can, let's say, you're Carl, right? Let's say that Sigma was up here with you. And you get jumped by Diva, and Sigma puts his barrier out for you guys to duel with. I'd say you would use his barrier. Yeah. Right. Right. Now, that's a really good point you bring up. Sigma, I forgot to tell you, high ground's amazing. Because most high ground blows up at your ideal distance. And you can shoot over barriers. So you deal damage to the barrier and shoot over the barrier. It's kind of like shooting dynamites over and over and over. It's pretty awesome. She could be back here on this. Yeah. So basically, instead of Arisa being up here, which ideally you don't want to be this close. Like, there's no purpose to be here. There's more of a purpose to be near this big health kit or near this wall to line of sight and say, hey guys, I need healing. Okay, I'm going to contest again. Or like back here. So now she can hop off if she needs to. She can do a last stand. She can trade. She can call in a trade so that her cooldowns can come back. Stuff like that. Yeah. The spam comp. So it is very viable to do a 6-man spam comp against the brawl, especially with high ground like this. Right, and so you do want your tanks to reposition, especially your Orisa. If you don't do a Orisa, you would want a Divey DPS, like Tracer, maybe Reaper, but a Genji, something like that. Right, and flanking and whatever else while they're coming in. If you guys wanted to run a bunker comp, so that everybody was shooting, everybody had a range, Junkrat kind of works. You can definitely do the Junkrat with the bunker comp, but I would swap out the Reaper. Reaper's viable, but he has to be flanking and he needs a safe spot to run to. He wouldn't have that safe spot, and so it conflicts with the bunker comp if you guys play bunker, which is a double barrier variant. So if you guys were playing bunker, I would set up in this window and they would push through, and whether they decided to go to the point or decided to come up the stairs to you determines what you do. If they come up the stairs, you back up and you're just shooting them as they come towards you. And this is a 6 stack, you guys are all stacked. If they don't, you can continue to shoot them from the window. Hopefully you'll get a few squishies, and then you can just go in and fight. If you don't get any picks, it gets harder. At that point, probably I would send everyone over here while Orisa set up on that corner. On this corner here. And let me get that out of there. So like Orisa would jump down, get ready to hold this corner, and then everyone else would be set up over here with their bunker. And then you guys would be shooting into them as they rounded that corner. And if they touched the point, Orisa would bunker here. And hopefully by the time that they met or contested Orisa, and she's using all her cooldowns, that they would be dead or almost dead, and Orisa could run away and everyone else could jump down to help. And then you guys reset for the next fight. And do the same thing. That same thing kind of works too if you want to set up over here. This is totally viable as well. And then they would go that way, and you would shoot, set up your Orisa somewhere. Does that make sense? Right. Some concepts I'll point out too. So yeah, they would, if it was brawl, they would probably come up this way and try to fight you. They would TP, exactly, stuff like that. And so you would have to react and run and adjust. And bunker comp hurts against TP. So we'll see. The concepts I want to come back to real quick are off angles. So so they don't have their monkey anymore, which is really good for us. That means if we wanted to, we generally have one direction of damage, which is from our Ana, sourced off our Ana. Everyone lines up with Ana and shoots down one lane. If we wanted to improve our damaging capabilities, we would want to split our damage so that we're a threat on multiple angles, similar to how we do with Sigma. And so we could put an Ana here, or we could put Carl here, Ash, And now we're hitting everybody behind the barrier. And so we can pick off healers, we can set everyone on fire, or whatever. The Reaper has another off angle up here, just like we were talking about. And so the more you can exploit those off angles, the worse Brawl will do. Since Brawl can only block one direction, they're only blocking one of your people, or two. Brawl's weaknesses are high ground and flanks. The more you abuse high ground and flanks, the easier time you will have against Brawl every single time. If they throw in one dive like a monkey, just group 2 and 2s, 2-2-2s. Just be sure to run to each other, to have your escapes ready, things like that. If they add more dive, that's when you need to go into 3s or 6s. Make sense? Sweet. All right. If y'all want to learn another comp, let me know. And maybe I can share like a double barrier video that I really like that hits a lot of different coaches and brings it all into one video. Cool. I'll go ahead and share that. Let's see. Let's get some goals going. And I didn't even take notes. I didn't write anything down. So for general goals, I would say number 1 is try the 3s. Try to split in 3s. So 1-1-1 and 1-1-1. And then flow like water. If there's resistance, stop. If you're pushed, fall back. If there's no resistance, flow forward. So you create natural flanks. Now, there's a restriction to this. I forgot to mention. You are not flowing to Narnia. You are not going like way out in the middle of nowhere. No. Yeah, so flow as the gravitational center is the enemy team. We'll do that. Always flow towards and away from the enemy team. That sounds like it will work. Second thing, off angles are your friends. The easiest shots in your life will be the shots that you take where they don't see you. They will literally run in a straight line. And so you breathe, you shoot, you headshot. Take your time, make that first shot count. And yeah, you will, especially as Ashe, especially as Reaper, you guys are going to get so many kills with off angles. It's ridiculous. And it's going to be easy because they're not going to know what to do. And they're not going to give you a barrier, because if they do, then they get torn up by Orisa and Sig. And then communicate, I guess, is that other one that we saw back on the second point. For if you are breaking line of sight, if you guys say, this is the zone that we will control, then control the zone. Adjust defensively. If you chase and you squirrel, then you're going to break the cohesion and people will die. So if you squirrel together as a gaggle. The first one was flow like water in the split. So the 3 split. I don't remember the second one. Off angles, thank you. And the third one was if you lay out a zone, hey, we're holding this zone, stick to the zone. If you squirrel, people are gonna die. Unless it's like a victory, you've already won. You know, there's gonna be exceptions to just about everything. But yeah. What time is it? Okay. let's go ahead and wrap up here. I was going to do a trial run with you guys, but I think we're over time a little bit. Any final thoughts or questions or concerns? Sweet. Alrighty, guys. Good luck in the matches. And if you have any questions or you want some coaching, let me know. Alright, no problem at all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.